The council chamber fell silent as the images appeared. 3 worlds once green and full of life now turned to ash and dust. Ambassador Vexlar stood at the center of the room, his forearms trembling with rage. "This is what remains of Carthus 7, he said, his voice echoing through the vast hall. 2 billion souls lived there. Now there's nothing but melted rock and poison clouds. The holographic display shifted to show another dead world, then another. Each one told the same horrible story. Something had burned these planets until nothing could live there anymore. A human ship did this, Vexlar continued. A massive battleship that appears without warning. It destroys everything and leaves. We call it the Unforgiven." Murmurs spread through the gathered aliens. Fear and anger mixed together in the air. The Galactic Council had seen wars before, but never complete destruction like this. "Where is this ship now?" asked Council Leader Mora, her crystalline body reflecting the red emergency lights. "We don't know," Vexlar admitted. "It vanishes after each attack, no trace. No pattern we can find. What do the humans say?" Mora turned her attention to the human section of the chamber. Ambassador Chen stood up slowly. He was an old man, tired from years of diplomatic service. "We know nothing about this ship," he said firmly. "It is not part of our military. We condemn these attacks completely. If this vessel exists, it is acting without our government's knowledge or permission." "Lies," Vexlar shouted. "Only humans have this level of destructive technology. You must know something." Chen's face remained calm, but his hands gripped the podium tightly. "We are investigating. That is all I can say." The council chamber erupted in arguments. Some species demanded immediate action against humanity. Others urged caution. In the chaos, a young Caltharian analyst named Zix sat quietly at his terminal, studying the data. Something didn't make sense. Zix pulled up star charts and overlaid the destroyed worlds. At first they seemed random, but when he added older data, a pattern emerged. All 3 worlds had once been home to ancient civilizations, primitive cultures that died out long before anyone reached space travel. "Interesting," Zix whispered to himself. He flagged the finding and sent it to his superior officer. Then he kept digging. Far across the galaxy, Admiral Keiko Tanaka stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Prometheus. She stared at the same images the council had seen. 3 dead worlds. "Billions dead. Do we have any leads?" she asked her intelligence officer. "None, Admiral. The ship appears, destroys the planet, and disappears into quantum space. No communication. No demands. No explanation." Tanaka closed her eyes. She had lost her son 5 years ago. David had been serving on a colony world when something destroyed it. The official report said it was a reactor malfunction, but Tanaka never believed that. The destruction had been too complete, too much like these new attacks. "There's something else, Admiral," her officer continued. "We've identified the ship's commander. Facial recognition from long-range scans. It's Captain Marcus Webb." Tanaka's eyes snapped open. "Marcus, that's impossible. He's been dead for 3 years. Missing, Admiral. Not confirmed dead. And the computer is certain. It's him, Marcus Webb." Tanaka remembered him well. They had served together for 20 years. He was brilliant, dedicated, and had a son who served with David. Both boys died on the same colony. After that, Marcus changed. He became obsessed with finding answers. Then one day he simply vanished. "Get me everything we have on Webb's disappearance," Tanaka ordered. "I want to know where he went and what he was working on." Before her officer could respond, alarms blared across the ship. A priority message from Earth Command appeared on the main screen. "Admiral Tanaka, you are hereby ordered to take command of a task force. Your mission is to locate and destroy the vessel known as the Unforgiven. You have full authority to use any means necessary." Tanaka felt her stomach tighten. They wanted her to kill her old friend. They wanted her to stop him before he destroyed another world. "There's more, Admiral," her communications officer said quietly. "The Unforgiven just broadcast its next target. Belthara Prime." The bridge went silent. Everyone knew Belthara Prime. It was a beautiful garden world, home to 4 billion people. It was also one of the most heavily populated planets in this sector. "How long do we have?" Tanaka asked. 72 hours. Tanaka looked at her crew. They were good people. Brave, skilled. But could they stop a ship that had destroyed 3 worlds already? Could they stop Marcus Webb? "Prepare the fleet," she said. "We leave in 1 hour." Back on the council station, Zix had made another discovery. He pulled up communication records from the destroyed worlds. In the weeks before each attack, there had been unusual reports. Strange illnesses, people acting oddly, violent outbreaks that made no sense. But these reports had been dismissed as local problems. Nobody connected them to anything larger. Nobody except Zix. He tried to access more data, but his terminal flashed a security warning. The information he wanted was classified, restricted to the highest levels. Why would medical reports be classified? Zix wondered aloud. His supervisor approached, looking nervous. Zix, what are you working on? Just analyzing the attack patterns, sir. I found something interesting. Drop it, his supervisor said quickly. Focus on fleet movements instead. The Council doesn't want speculation right now. Zix nodded, but he didn't stop. He just became more careful about where he searched. Something was being hidden. Something important. Admiral Tanaka's fleet dropped out of hyperspace near Belthara Prime 30 hours later. 15 ships, the best humanity had to offer. They formed a defensive grid around the planet. On the surface, chaos had already begun. The government was trying to evacuate, but how do you move 4 billion people in 2 days? It was impossible. Tanaka opened a channel to the planetary governor. We're here to protect you. Start evacuating anyone you can to the outer moons. Admiral, we can't move everyone, the governor said, his voice breaking. Most people will still be here when that ship arrives. I know, Tanaka said softly. But we're going to try to stop it. Get as many people out as you can. The next 40 hours crawled by. Tanaka's crew ran constant scans looking for any sign of the Unforgiven. They found nothing. Then, with 8 hours left, reality itself seemed to tear open. The Unforgiven emerged from quantum space directly above Belthara Prime. It was massive, larger than any ship Tanaka had ever seen. Its hull was dark, almost black, with strange patterns that hurt to look at. All ships attack formation, Tanaka ordered. Target their weapon systems. The fleet opened fire. Missiles and energy beams streaked toward the Unforgiven. But before they could hit, the space around the battleship shimmered. The weapons simply vanished as if they had never existed. What just happened? Someone shouted. Unknown, Admiral. Our weapons aren't reaching the target. The Unforgiven rotated slowly, its main weapons charging. Tanaka could see them glowing with terrible power. In seconds they would fire. In seconds Belthara Prime would die. Then her communication screen flickered. A face appeared. Older, tired, but unmistakable. Marcus Webb. Hello, Keiko, he said quietly. I was hoping it wouldn't be you they sent. Marcus, Tanaka breathed. What are you doing? What I must. Stand down, Keiko, you don't understand what's at stake here. Then explain it to me. Webb looked sad. I can't, not yet. But this world must be destroyed. I'm sorry, the channel closed. The Unforgiven's weapons finished charging. Tanaka had seconds to make a decision. Tanaka made her choice in an instant. All ships full assault. Target the weapon ports. Her fleet surged forward. Every ship fired everything they had. The space between them and the Unforgiven, filled with missiles, energy beams, and kinetic rounds. For a moment, Tanaka hoped it would be enough. It wasn't. The Unforgiven's defensive systems activated. The strange shimmer around its hull intensified. Weapons that should have destroyed it simply disappeared or veered away. One missile actually curved back and destroyed the ship that fired it. We can't hit it. Her weapons officer shouted, keep firing, Tanaka ordered. We have to buy time for the evacuation. But the Unforgiven wasn't focused on them. Its massive weapons aimed down at Belthara Prime. Tanaka watched in horror as they prepared to fire. Then something unexpected happened. The battleship hesitated. Its weapons powered down slightly. Webb's face appeared on her screen again. Keiko, please, take your ships and leave. I don't want to kill you. You're about to murder 4 billion people, Tanaka shouted back. They're already dead, Webb said, his voice heavy with sadness. You just don't know it yet. What are you talking about? Webb looked like he wanted to explain, but instead he shook his head. I can't let you stop me. I'm sorry. The Unforgiven's secondary weapons came online. They targeted the human fleet. In the span of 5 seconds, 7 ships exploded. 7 crews, thousands of people gone in an instant. Tanaka felt rage burn through her. Marcus had been her friend. She had trusted him. And now he was killing her people. Prometheus, full power to engines, she commanded. Plot a ramming course. Admiral, that's suicide! Her executive officer protested. If we can't shoot it, we'll crash into it. The crew will evacuate. That's an order. Her ship surged forward, accelerating to maximum speed. The Unforgiven's weapons tracked them, but Tanaka's pilot was good. They dodged and weaved, getting closer with each second. All crew, this is the Admiral. Evacuate now. Get to the escape pods. Around her, the bridge crew hesitated. They didn't want to leave their commander, but training took over. One by one, they ran for the exits. Within 2 minutes, only Tanaka remained on the bridge. She gripped the controls herself now. The Unforgiven grew larger in the viewport. She could see details on its hull, strange organic patterns mixed with metal, technology she didn't recognize. Come on, she whispered. Just a little closer. The Unforgiven tried to evade, but it was too slow. Too massive. The Prometheus struck its side like a spear. The impact threw Tanaka from her chair. Alarms screamed as the ship began to break apart, but they had done it. A huge hole now opened in the Unforgiven's hull. Atmosphere vented into space. Internal fires flickered in the darkness. Tanaka pulled herself up. Her ship was dying, but she wasn't done yet. She grabbed a combat suit from the emergency locker and sealed herself inside. Then she armed herself with every weapon she could carry. "Marcus, I'm coming for you," she said into the silence. She made her way to the breach. The Prometheus was lodged deep in the Unforgiven's side. All she had to do was climb through. Her magnetic boots activated, locking her to the twisted metal. The interior of the Unforgiven was like nothing she had ever seen. The walls weren't just metal. They pulsed slightly as if alive. Veins of some strange material ran through everything. It was part ship, part something else. Tanaka activated her combat scanner. It showed dozens of life signs ahead, but they weren't moving normally. They seemed to be part of the ship itself, connected to it somehow. She pushed forward deeper into the battleship. Emergency lights flickered, casting strange shadows. Once, she thought she heard something moving behind her. When she spun around, nothing was there. After 20 minutes of climbing through twisted corridors, she found what she was looking for. A lift shaft that went up toward the command section. She forced the doors open and began climbing. The shaft seemed to go on forever. Her arms burned with effort, but she kept moving. She thought about David, her son. She thought about all the people who had died. She thought about Marcus and what had turned him into this. Finally, she reached the bridge level. The doors opened easily as if they had been waiting for her. She stepped out, weapons ready. The bridge was massive and dark. In the center, surrounded by holographic displays, stood Marcus Webb. He looked older than she remembered, thinner. His eyes had dark circles under them. "I was wondering how long it would take you," he said without turning around. "You always were stubborn. It's over, Marcus. Surrender the ship." Now he turned to face her. In the dim light, she could see he was sick. His skin had a strange pallor. His hands shook slightly. "Over? Keiko, it's just beginning." He gestured to the displays around him. They showed Belthera Prime. But something was wrong with the images. Tanaka stepped closer, keeping her weapon trained on him. As she looked at the planet, she saw what Marcus saw. In the major cities, something was happening. People were rioting. No, not rioting. Attacking each other with terrible violence. "What is that?" she asked. "The truth," Marcus said. "The reason I've been destroying planets." "Look closer." He enhanced one of the images. Tanaka saw people changing, their bodies twisting into something else. Something wrong. They moved too fast. Their limbs bent in impossible ways. And they were spreading, consuming anyone they touched. "What am I looking at?" "Harvesters," Marcus said. "An ancient parasitic species. They seed developing worlds with spores. When a civilization reaches a certain point, the spores activate. The entire population becomes infected, transforms into mindless bioweapons that spread to other worlds." Tanaka stared at the screens. The infection was spreading fast. Already it looked like millions were affected. "This is why you destroyed those planets?" "They were all infected. I detected the spores activating. If I had waited, if I had tried to warn people, the harvesters would have escaped to other worlds. Total sterilization is the only way to stop them. But billions of innocent people were already dead," Marcus shouted. "The spores can't be removed. Can't be cured. Once they activate, everyone on that world is lost. I tried to find another way, Keiko. I spent 3 years trying. There isn't one," Tanaka wanted to argue. Wanted to tell him he was wrong. But the screens told a different story. She watched as the infection swept through cities like wildfire. She watched as a planet died in slow motion. "How did you find out about this?" she asked. Marcus's expression grew even sadder. "David and James, our sons. They discovered it on their colony. They tried to warn Earth, but the infection activated before the message could get out. I spent years investigating their deaths. I found the truth. Found technology from an ancient race that fought the Harvesters, built this ship from their weapons. So you've been killing worlds to save the galaxy? Yes. Marcus activated the Unforgiven's main weapons again. They locked onto Belthara Prime, and I'm about to do it again. You can try to stop me, but you'll fail. This ship's systems are integrated with my neural network. Only I can control it. Tanaka looked at her old friend. She looked at the dying planet. She looked at her weapon. She had to make a choice. Stop Marcus and let the infection spread, or help him commit genocide. Show me proof, she said. Show me these spores are real. Marcus nodded. He brought up biological scans of Belthara Prime's population. Tanaka wasn't a scientist, but even she could see the foreign organisms in their bodies. Millions of tiny parasites all activating at once. The colony where our sons died, Marcus said quietly. This is what killed them. They were infected too. By the time they realized what was happening, it was too late. Tanaka felt something break inside her. David had died like this, transformed into a monster. She had spent 5 years mourning him, never knowing the truth. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, Marcus said, but I couldn't let anyone stop me. This is too important. Tanaka lowered her weapon. She walked to the control panel and looked at the targeting systems. One button. That's all it would take to erase Belthara Prime from existence. If I help you, she said slowly, if I do this, promise me you'll surrender afterward. Promise me you'll share everything you know. I promise, Marcus said. But Keiko, you should know. I'm dying. The harvester technology being connected to this ship, it's killing me. I have maybe a few weeks left. Tanaka closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were hard as stone. Then we better make them count. Together, they activated the planet killer weapons. Together, they watched as Belthara Prime began to burn. The weapons fired in complete silence. From the bridge of the Unforgiven, Tanaka watched as beams of impossible energy struck Belthara Prime. The planet's atmosphere caught fire. Oceans boiled away in seconds. The crust itself began to melt. 4 billion lives ended. Tanaka forced herself to watch every moment. If she was going to do this, she wouldn't look away. She would carry this weight forever. It takes 15 minutes for complete sterilization, Marcus said quietly beside her. The temperature has to reach a certain level to destroy the spores completely. Tanaka didn't respond. She just stared at the dying world. In her mind, she saw David's face. She imagined him trapped in a transforming body, still aware as the parasite took control. She didn't know which was worse, his death on the colony or this knowledge of how he died. I need to see everything, she finally said. Every piece of evidence, every scan, every report. If I'm going to live with this, I need to understand it completely. Marcus nodded. He gestured to a terminal. It's all here. Everything I've learned over 3 years. For the next hour, while Belthara Prime burned, Marcus showed her the truth. He showed her the archaeological evidence of the harvesters. Ancient ruins on dead worlds, all telling the same story. A parasitic species that had consumed thousands of civilizations over millions of years. He showed her the biological data. The spores were tiny, nearly impossible to detect. They could remain dormant for centuries, passed down through generations. They hid in genetic code, waiting. What triggers them? Tanaka asked. Technological development, Marcus explained. When a species reaches certain technological markers, spaceflight, quantum communication, advanced computing, the spores recognize it. They activate simultaneously across the entire population. Why? What's the purpose? Reproduction, Marcus said grimly. The infected don't just transform. They build. They create ships. They spread to other worlds and seed more spores. Then the cycle begins again. He pulled up a simulation. It showed how one infected world could spread to 10 others within a year. Those 10 could spread to 100. Exponential growth. Within a decade, an entire galaxy could be consumed. How did you build this ship? Tanaka asked, looking around the strange bridge. I found a dead world at the edge of known space. It had ruins from a civilization that fought the harvesters. They left weapons behind, technology that could destroy the spores. I spent 2 years learning to use it, building the Unforgiven from their blueprints. And the Council doesn't know any of this? Marcus shook his head. I tried to warn them at first. Sent anonymous reports, shared evidence. They ignored it. Called it conspiracy theories. By the time I realized they wouldn't listen, I knew what I had to do. On the view screen, Belthera Prime was now a ball of molten rock. Nothing could survive there. Nothing would ever live there again. Marcus, this can't be the only way. There has to be— There isn't, he said firmly. I've tried everything. Vaccines don't work. The spores adapt too fast. Quarantine doesn't work. The infected can survive in space on ships. By the time you know a world is infected, it's too late for anything except this. Tanaka's communicator crackled to life. Admiral? Admiral Tanaka, are you alive? She recognized the voice. Her executive officer, who had escaped in the evacuation. I'm here, Commander. I'm on the Unforgiven. Thank God. Admiral, Galactic Council fleets are incoming. Hundreds of ships. They're here to destroy the battleship. Tanaka looked at Marcus. He pulled up tactical displays. She could see them now. Fleets from a dozen species all converging on their position. How long until they arrive? Marcus asked. 20 minutes. Can we escape? Tanaka asked. Marcus studied the displays. Yes, but the damage from your ramming attack slowed our quantum drive. We won't get far before they catch us, then we need to talk to them, show them what we showed each other. They won't believe us, Marcus said. I have recordings of everything. The infection. The transformation. They'll call it fake. Human propaganda. We have to try. Marcus started to respond, but stopped. His face went pale. He stumbled, catching himself on the console. Marcus? I'm fine, he said, but he wasn't. Blood dripped from his nose. His hands shook worse than before. You said weeks. You lied, didn't you? Days, Marcus admitted. Maybe less. The ship's technology is toxic to human biology. I've been dying since the day I connected to it. Before Tanaka could respond, her communicator came alive again. But this time it wasn't her crew. It was a Galactic Council transmission, broadcast to every ship in the system. This is Council Leader Mora, Captain Marcus Webb and Admiral Keiko Tanaka. You are ordered to surrender immediately. You will be taken into custody and tried for crimes against the galaxy. The destruction of Belthera Prime was an act of genocide. There will be no mercy. Marcus opened a channel. Council Leader, you don't understand. Belthera Prime was infected by— We've heard your lies, Mora cut him off. We've seen the evidence of your crimes. You destroyed 3 worlds and killed billions. Now you've destroyed a 4th. There is nothing you can say that will change this. Then you're fools, Marcus said. And when the infection spreads from the worlds you didn't let me destroy, billions more will die. This transmission is over. The channel closed. Tanaka felt a wave of despair. They had done the right thing, the necessary thing, and the galaxy was going to execute them for it. We need to run, she said. Marcus shook his head. No, I'm done running. He looked at her with tired eyes. Keiko, this ship is connected to my neural network. When I die, it becomes inert, useless. You need to learn how to control it before that happens. What are you saying? I'm saying you need to replace me. Connect to the ship the way I did. It will kill you eventually, but slower than it's killing me. You could have months, maybe a year. You want me to kill myself to pilot this ship? I want you to save the galaxy, Marcus said. Because there are more infected worlds out there. The Unforgiven sensors can detect them. I have a list. 47 planets showing early signs of activation. Tanaka stared at him. 47 worlds, hundreds of billions of people. We need to show this to the council, she said. They won't listen. Marcus shouted, then coughed. More blood. I've tried. They're too scared of us to see the real threat. Far across the system on a Galactic Council surveillance ship, Zix was working frantically. He had been monitoring the battle. He had recorded everything, and he believed Marcus Webb. For weeks, Zix had been secretly investigating. He had found the same patterns Marcus found, the same archaeological evidence, the same medical reports that were classified and hidden. He knew the council was wrong. He knew the harvesters were real. I have to tell them, he whispered. He compiled his findings into a report. 3 years of secret research. Proof that Webb was telling the truth. He sent it to Council Leader Mora, to the Assembly, to every high-ranking official he could reach. Within minutes he was arrested. You are relieved of duty, his commander said coldly. Spreading this human propaganda is treason. It's not propaganda, Zix shouted as they dragged him away. Look at the evidence. The patterns are real, but no one listened. They threw him in a cell and sealed the door. On the Unforgiven, Marcus was fading fast. He sat in the command chair, barely conscious. Tanaka stood over him, trying to decide what to do. The connection process, she asked. How long does it take? Hours, Marcus whispered. You'd need to interface with the ship's core. Let it integrate with your mind. It's agonizing. Will the ship survive your death? For a few hours, maybe. It will go into standby mode. Tanaka made her decision. Then we run. Buy ourselves time to figure this out. The council fleets, we'll deal with them when we have to. She helped Marcus to his feet and moved him to a medical bay. The ship's AI, responding to her commands now that she was recognized as crew, activated healing systems. They wouldn't save Marcus, but they might buy him another day. Then she returned to the bridge and activated the quantum drive. The Unforgiven lurched, reality bending around it as it prepared to jump. But before they could escape, the council fleets arrived. Hundreds of ships blocking every escape route, and on the main view screen a new transmission appeared. But this time it wasn't Mora. It was Ambassador Vexillar, the Caltharian who had first accused humanity. Webb. Tanaka. Look at my homeworld, he transmitted coordinates. Tanaka pulled them up. Calth Prime, the Caltharian home planet. Population 30 billion, the scan showed it clearly. The same spores Marcus had detected on Belthera Prime. The same activation signature. The infection was beginning. No, Tanaka breathed. Yes, Vexillar said, his voice hollow. My people, my family. They're all infected, aren't they? Marcus appeared on the bridge, barely able to stand. He looked at the scans. Then he looked at Vexillar. I'm sorry, he said. But yes, you have maybe 48 hours before full activation. Vexillar's forearms dropped to his sides. Then it's true. Everything you said. The harvesters are real. Yes, and there's no cure. No. The great ambassador of the Caltharian hegemony stood silent for a long moment. Then he looked directly at Marcus. Then do what you must, he said. Save the galaxy. Even if you have to destroy us to do it. The silence after Vexillar's words felt heavier than the weight of entire worlds. Tanaka looked at Marcus. He was barely standing, his body failing, but his eyes were clear and determined. I can't, Marcus whispered. 30 billion. That's 10 times more than any world I've destroyed. You have to, Vexillar said. My people are already showing symptoms. Violence in the cities. People attacking each other. Within 2 days we'll be completely transformed. And then we'll spread to every Caltharian colony. Hundreds of worlds. Tanaka pulled up the sensor data. Vexillar was right, the infection was progressing fast. Much faster than on Belthera Prime. Perhaps because the Caltharian population was so much larger, so much denser. There has to be another way, she said. There isn't, Marcus said. I've looked. For 3 years I've looked. This is the only way. Then I'll help you, Vexillar said. Tell the council it was my decision. Tell them I ordered you to do it. They won't listen, Marcus replied. They'll say we forced you. Threatened you. Then what do we do? Before anyone could answer, another transmission came through. Council leader Mora appeared, her crystalline form glowing with anger. Vexillar, step away from that ship immediately. We will handle this situation. There's nothing to handle, Vexillar said. My world is infected. The human is right. We need to... You are in shock, Mora interrupted. You're not thinking clearly. The humans have deceived you with false data. The data came from our own sensors, Vexillar shouted. Look at it yourself. We will investigate properly. We will not destroy an entire civilization based on panic. Marcus activated the Unforgiven's weapons. They locked onto Calth Prime. You don't have time to investigate. In 48 hours, it will be too late. Mora's image flickered with rage. If you fire on that world, we will destroy you. I have 500 ships here. You cannot win. I don't need to win, Marcus said quietly. I just need to fire first. Stand down, Captain Webb. This is your final warning. Marcus's finger moved toward the firing control. Tanaka grabbed his wrist. Wait, she said. Marcus, think about this. If you destroy Calth Prime, the entire galaxy will unite against humanity. They'll declare total war. Better war than extinction, Marcus replied. Is it? You'll die in the next few days. I can't control this ship alone. Who will stop the other infected worlds? Who will save the galaxy if we're all killing each other? Marcus hesitated. She was right. He knew she was right. But every moment they waited, more Caltharians became infected. In his cell on the Council surveillance ship, Zix was listening to everything. The guards had left him alone, thinking he was just a crazy analyst. But he still had his earpiece. He heard every word. He had to do something. The Council was making a mistake. They were going to let Calth Prime spread the infection because they were too afraid of the humans to see the truth. Zix kicked at his cell door. It was solid metal, unbreakable, but the wall next to it was just composite material. He slammed his shoulder into it once, twice. On the third hit, it cracked. "Guards!" someone shouted. "The prisoner is escaping." Zix didn't care. He hit the wall again and broke through. Alarms blared. He ran through the ship's corridors, heading for the communication center. Security officers chased him. One fired a stun weapon. It hit Zix in the back, but he kept running. His muscles screamed. His heart felt like it would explode. But he reached the communication center and locked the door behind him. "This is Intelligence Officer Zix," he shouted into the broadcast system. "I have critical information about the harvester parasites. Everything Captain Webb said is true. I have proof. 3 years of research, archaeological evidence, medical data, pattern analysis. The infection is real." He transmitted his files to every ship in the system. Thousands of receivers. They couldn't stop him now. "The humans aren't the threat," he continued. "The harvesters are. If we don't listen to Webb, we're all dead. Every species, every world. This is bigger than politics, bigger than fear. This is survival." Security broke through the door. They grabbed Zix and dragged him away. But it was too late. His message was out. On the bridge of the Unforgiven, Tanaka watched as the communication networks lit up. Zix's data was spreading. Ships were receiving it, analyzing it. "Someone else sees the truth," she said. Marcus pulled up the transmissions. He read through Zix's research. It was good. Better than good. It was thorough, scientific, undeniable. "Maybe they'll listen now," he said, but he didn't sound hopeful. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. The Council fleets held position. The Unforgiven's weapons remained locked on Calth Prime. Everyone waited. Then Mora transmitted again. Her voice was different now, uncertain. "We're reviewing the data," she said. "Initial analysis suggests it may be genuine. We're dispatching science teams to Calth Prime to verify." "You don't have time for verification," Marcus said. "Every hour you delay, the infection spreads. We will not destroy a world without proof." Marcus closed his eyes. He was so tired, so close to death. He just wanted it to be over. But then something changed. On the sensors, Calth Prime's surface showed new activity. The violence was intensifying, entire cities were going dark. And worse, ships were launching. Infected Caltharians were trying to escape. "No," Vexlar whispered. "They'll spread it to the colonies." "Shoot them down," Marcus ordered. "Any ship leaving Calth Prime could carry the infection." "I don't have that authority," Mora said. "Then give it to me." But Mora hesitated. And in that hesitation, 12 ships escaped Calth Prime's orbit. They jumped to quantum space, heading for other worlds. "You've killed us all," Marcus said quietly. Vexlar's face showed absolute despair. "My children were on one of those ships, evacuating to the outer colonies. They're infected now, aren't they?" Marcus checked the sensor logs. He found the ship, saw the biosignatures inside, all showing the parasite markers. "Yes," he said. "I'm sorry." Vexlar made a sound that might have been a sob or a scream. Then his image straightened. "Give me a weapon." "What?" "If you won't destroy my world, give me a weapon. Let me do it myself." "Vexlar, no," Mora began. "My people are dead," Vexlar roared. "They're monsters wearing familiar faces. I won't let them spread this plague. Give me a weapon." Marcus looked at Tanaka. She nodded slowly. If Vexlar wanted to carry this burden, Wanted to make this choice, they had to let him. We'll send you the activation codes, Marcus said. I'm sorry. Don't be, Vexlar replied. You tried to save us. We didn't listen. This is on the Council, not you. Marcus transmitted the codes. A terrible gift. The power to destroy a world. Vexlar's ship, a Caltharian cruiser, moved into position above his homeworld. Wait, Mora said. We need more time. We need to evacuate. There's no one left to evacuate, Vexlar said. Look at your scans. The infection is everywhere. My entire species, billions of years of evolution, and we're ending like this, because we were too afraid, too stupid, too proud. He activated the weapons Marcus had given him. Modified versions of the Unforgiven's technology, strong enough to sterilize a planet. For what it's worth, Vexlar said, tell humanity I'm sorry. You were right. We should have listened. Then he fired. Calth Prime died in fire. The entire Council fleet watched in silence as one of the galaxy's oldest civilizations burned. 30 billion lives. Gone. When it was over, Vexlar's ship remained in orbit over the dead world. He transmitted one final message. There are 12 more infected worlds, he said. Captain Webb has the locations. Someone has to stop them. Someone has to do what we couldn't. What we wouldn't. He paused. I'm going to find those ships that escaped. Hunt them down before they reach the colonies. I probably won't survive, but I'll die knowing I tried to fix our mistake. His ship jumped to quantum space and vanished. On the Unforgiven, Marcus collapsed. The stress, the emotion, his failing body. It was too much. Tanaka caught him as he fell. Medical bay, she ordered the ship's AI. Now. But as they moved, Marcus grabbed her arm. Keiko, the other infected worlds, promise me. I promise, she said. I'll finish what you started. The connection process. You need to. I know. I'll do it. Marcus smiled weakly. You always were the brave one. As they reached the medical bay, an urgent transmission came through. It was the Council surveillance ship. A disheveled Caltharian stood in front of the camera. Captain Webb, Admiral Tanaka, this is Intelligence Officer Zix. I broke out of my cell to send you that data. I believe you. I've believed you for months. If you need help, if you need someone who understands this threat, I volunteer. I'll do whatever it takes. Tanaka looked at the young analyst. He was bruised and bleeding, clearly beaten by the guards, but his eyes burned with determination. We need scientists, she said. People who can study the harvesters, maybe find a cure. I'll try, Zix said, even if it takes the rest of my life. Then welcome aboard, Tanaka replied. In orbit around dead Calth Prime, the Council fleet finally understood. The threat was real. The humans had been telling the truth. But understanding came too late, bought with 30 billion lives. And somewhere in deep space, 12 infected ships flew toward unsuspecting colonies carrying death in their hulls. 3 months had passed since Calth Prime burned. 3 months since the galaxy learned the truth about the harvesters. 3 months since everything changed. Admiral Keiko Tanaka stood on the bridge of her flagship. No longer the Prometheus, but a new vessel. The Unforgiven too. Around her, 11 more ships hung in the darkness of space. 12 planet killers, all bearing the same name. The Unforgiven fleet, Marcus Webb, was dead. He had died peacefully in the medical bay, 2 days after Calth Prime's destruction. His last words were simple. Finish it. Tanaka had made the connection to the original Unforgiven's core, letting the alien technology integrate with her mind. The process was every bit as agonizing as Marcus had warned. But she survived, and now she commanded not just one planet killer, but an entire fleet. Admiral, we've detected another signature, her science officer reported. It was Zix, the young Caltharian who had risked everything to reveal the truth. He had joined the fleet as promised, bringing 20 other scientists from various species. All volunteers, all willing to carry the burden. Where? Tanaka asked. Veron 6, it's a human colony. Population 200 million. Tanaka felt her stomach tighten. After 3 months, she still wasn't used to this. She had destroyed 7 worlds already. The weight of it pressed on her soul like a physical thing. But she kept going because someone had to. How long until activation? She asked. 72 hours, maybe less. The spores are in early trigger phase. Send a warning to the planetary government. Tell them to evacuate anyone they can to space stations and orbital platforms. We'll screen the evacuees for infection. Yes, Admiral, this was the new protocol. Warn the people. Save anyone who could be saved. But in the end, the planet always died. They couldn't risk even one infected person escaping. Tanaka walked to the observation window. Behind her, the fleet was a constellation of dark metal and alien technology. Humanity had built them in secret, using the blueprints Marcus had left behind. The official human government claimed no knowledge of the fleet. Publicly, they condemned Tanaka as a rogue officer. Privately, they gave her everything she needed. Admiral. Zix approached her carefully. I have the latest research results. Tell me you found something good, she said. Zix hesitated. We've made progress. We can now detect the spores in the dormant phase, not just when they're activating. That's good news. But we still can't remove them. Every attempt to kill the spores kills the host. And we haven't found a way to prevent activation. Tanaka nodded. It was always the same. Progress, but never enough. Never a cure. Just better ways to detect who needed to die. Keep working, she said. Somewhere there has to be an answer. Yes, Admiral. In the month since Calth Prime, the Galactic Council had fractured. Some species supported the Unforgiven fleet, seeing them as necessary guardians. Others viewed them as human tyrants, using the Harvester threat to seize power. The debates were endless, but the fleet didn't wait for consensus. They went where the sensors led them. They did what needed to be done. And slowly, grudgingly, the galaxy accepted them. Incoming transmission, the communications officer announced. It's Vexlar. Tanaka smiled slightly. The old Caltharian had survived. After destroying those 12 escape ships, he had joined the fleet. Now he commanded the Unforgiven 7, hunting infected worlds in the outer sectors. Admiral. Vexlar's image appeared. He looked older, more tired, carrying the same weight Tanaka carried. I found something. You need to see this. What is it? A partial infection. A colony world where only 30% of the population transformed. The rest survived in underground shelters. They're clean. No spores. Tanaka felt a spark of hope. That's impossible. Marcus said infection was always total. I know what he said, but I'm looking at 5,000 uninfected survivors right now. We brought them aboard for examination. Zix needs to see this. Send me the coordinates. We're on our way. The fleet jumped to quantum space. When they emerged in the system Vexlar indicated, Tanaka saw the planet. The surface was partially destroyed, but parts remained habitable. And orbiting nearby were the Unforgiven 7 and several transport ships full of survivors. Zix worked for 3 days straight, studying the survivors, testing their blood, analyzing their genetic code. On the 4th day, he called Tanaka to the medical bay. We found something, he said, excitement in his voice. These people have a genetic mutation, a very rare one. It makes them immune to the spores. Immune. Completely? The spores can't attach to their cells, can't integrate with their DNA. They're naturally resistant. Tanaka felt her heart race. Can we replicate it? Create a treatment? Maybe it will take time. Years, probably. But yes, I think we can. For the first time in 3 months, Tanaka felt something other than despair. Hope. Fragile and small, but real. How many people carry this mutation? She asked. In the general population? Maybe 1 in 10,000. But if we can create a genetic therapy based on it, we could inoculate entire populations. Do it, Tanaka ordered. Whatever you need. Whatever it costs. There's something else, Zix said. While studying the immune survivors, I found references in their old medical databases. The mutation isn't random. It appeared suddenly in their population about 300 years ago. Almost like it was introduced deliberately. What are you saying? I'm saying someone tried to help these people. Someone knew about the harvesters and tried to create immunity. The effort failed, obviously. The mutation is too rare. But someone tried. Tanaka considered this. Who would have that knowledge? That ability? The species that left the technology Marcus found, she said slowly. The ones who built the original weapons. Maybe. Or maybe they weren't the only ones fighting the harvesters. It was a mystery they didn't have time to solve. Baron 6 was still infected. Still needed to be destroyed. The survivors with immunity gave them hope for the future, but they couldn't save the present. The fleet moved into position above Veron 6, The evacuation had saved 2 million people. The remaining 198 million were infected. Tanaka gave the order. The planet burned. But this time she had something to hold on to. This time they had saved some people. This time there was hope for a cure. Weeks turned into months. The Unforgiven fleet continued its grim work. 8 more worlds destroyed, then 9, then 10. Each time they saved who they could. Each time Tanaka felt a piece of her soul die. But Zix's research progressed. With the help of scientists from a dozen species, he began developing the treatment. A genetic therapy that could grant immunity to the harvesters. It wasn't ready yet, but it was coming. Then the sensors detected something new, something that changed everything. "Admiral," the science team leader called urgently. "We've found the source. The Harvester world ship. It's at coordinates we just discovered at the galaxy's edge." Tanaka pulled up the readings. The thing was massive. A living ship thousands of kilometers across. It had been drifting through space for millions of years, seeding world after world with spores. "If we destroy it," Zix said, "we stop new infections. All the worlds we've detected are already seeded, but at least no more will be infected." "How do we kill something that size?" Tanaka asked. "We use all 12 ships. Combined firepower focused on a single point. We might be able to destroy its core?" "Might. Maybe. Possibly." The words Tanaka had learned to hate, but they had to try. She sent a message to the entire fleet. Vexlar and the other commanders responded immediately. They would all come. All 12 Unforgiven ships converging on the source of the plague that had killed so much. It took a week to gather the fleet. A week to plan the assault, a week for Tanaka to prepare herself for what might be a one-way mission. On the final night before the battle, she recorded a message. "Words for humanity, for the galaxy, for anyone who survived if she didn't. My name is Admiral Keiko Tanaka. I command the Unforgiven fleet. For 4 months we have carried a terrible burden. We have destroyed 17 worlds, killed hundreds of billions, and we did it to save trillions more." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "People call us monsters. They're right. What we've done is monstrous, but it was necessary. The harvesters would have consumed everything if we hadn't acted. Captain Marcus Webb knew this. He gave everything to stop them. Now we're finishing his work." Another pause. "Tomorrow we assault the Harvester world ship. We might not survive. But if we do, if we destroy this thing, the galaxy will be safe from new infections. And with the cure that's being developed, the existing infections can be stopped. No more worlds will burn." She looked directly at the camera. "To humanity, we did this not for glory or power. We did it because no one else could. Because we're willing to carry weight others cannot bear. That's our strength, not our weapons, not our technology. Our willingness to do what must be done, even when it destroys us." She ended the recording and sent it to Earth Command with instructions to release it only if she died. Then she went to the bridge and gave the order. "All ships, jump to quantum space. Target, Harvester world ship." The fleet emerged at the galaxy's edge, weapons armed and shields at maximum. The world ship waited for them, a massive organic structure pulsing with unnatural life. Around it floated millions of bioconstructs, the remains of species consumed long ago. "All ships attack formation," Tanaka ordered. "Target the core. Fire on my